Alright, so we live in a world now where, and I hate to be the one that always says that, well, not always, but it's a common phrase that you tend to see and hear. We live in a world, but it's true, unfortunately, that we do live in a world where, it is becoming more and more common. Hold on, let me just adjust my gloves but as I talk. It's becoming more and more common to, lose your virginity in an unjustly sense. Losing your virginity in the sense of, you just throw it away with someone you're not going to commit to. I never understood that. I never did. And, I have the religious values, right? I'm a Christian, so I try to, follow my life to Christ the best that I can. Try to set my life to, emulate Christ as best as I can, as, we do as Christians. But one thing that's been, mentally conflicting me quite often, I want to make this video quick, don't want to make it too long, is seeing a lot of people just date all these people. Not necessarily date, but fornicate. And I get it. Your men, I believe, were all wired to spread our seeds and whatnot. But there's also a part of me that's thinking, if I'm not going to commit to you, why am I showing you the most intimate parts of my body? Right? And this is coming from a virgin, guys. Right? So, if I'm a virgin, does that make me weird for wanting to have another virgin? Because the last time I checked, this was normal back in the day now. And the reason why I'm mentally conflicted now is because I feel like, at least, my own personal opinion, I think it should be normal. And I mean, it was normal in the past for, a virgin to want to date another virgin. I don't see the fuss about that. Both pure, best case scenario. Now, I would assume and I'd hope that that person's a virgin. But let's say even if they aren't, or if they lie to you, there are cases where a woman will lie to you about their virginity. And I believe part of me, in terms of just finding out the answers, and I believe the hardest part in terms of attracting the woman is the vetting out process. And I believe the right way to go about it is almost to be like that beta male cuck friend. Now, let me talk, I'll give you context. You're probably thinking, oh, Gordon, what do you mean by the beta male cuck? I just mean initially in the sense of, you know how a woman has a friend and then she has the goody two-shoes friend that wants to try getting her pants, and then the woman doesn't let him, right? She'll open up to him about anything, not to the person he likes, right? Because they're going to be shy, of course. So they tell you everything. Now, I believe in that initial process. Do so. And I don't think you should judge them for it, because that's one of the things women fear the most, being judged. So I think personally the best way to go about it, more so the vetting out process, let them talk. And don't judge. Just let them talk, you'll get the answer you need. And she will reveal it to you eventually. If it's something you don't like, well, you can simply leave. It's that simple. Just simply leave. And I believe that's the right way to go about the vetting out process, because when they do the vetting out process, you do it, she reveal everything. The person she sleeps with, the person she fights, because women are really good at lying, aren't they? Right? So I think that's a good way to, go about knowing if someone fucked the person or not. Excuse me for my language. But then there's also another side of me that's thinking, should you really be obsessed with someone's, whether they're a virgin or not? I'm mixed between it, because I'm a virgin myself, and I'm saving myself for marriage. And yes, I do believe, a part of me does believe men are, and women too, but let's talk about men here, because the video is based about men, that men are naturally wired to spread their seed all around, I get that. And whenever I go outside, I don't know why, it's usually when I go outside in the open, the clarity is there. The clarity is there. Right? And I'd see all these beautiful women outside. And the thought is still there. But then there is this really logical part of my brain that kicks in. And makes me realize, I don't want that. Do you know how time consuming it is to have sex with all these women? And I try to follow the Bible to a T. But nowadays, everyone seems to be cool to have sex with all these people. I know it's wrong, but you kind of feel that invisible social peer pressure. Almost like you have that feeling that you're missing out or you're behind. At least from my experience, part of me feels that way, you know. And I'd say I'm more so untempted than I am tempted. But the fact remains, it's a thought that stays in my brain, you know, because it's so common nowadays. It's becoming less and less common to save yourself up. Which in return is actually more rewarding. A lot of people like to argue, oh, but you're gonna have sex, you're not gonna have experience. So have experience with the one you date, with your wife. You're both virgins, so it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be something to explore. Do you see where I'm coming from? But I may get hate for this video because nowadays, unfortunately, I don't know why. I really don't understand why. This is coming from a virgin myself. He actually values himself, wants to save himself up for, you know, God gives me the right woman in front of me. He's also been saving up herself, you know, for the time to which men and both women biologically want and always wanted. Well, why to have it? Sex, right? But I also understand from another perspective, and a few influencers I watched had this view too. They don't really care whether the wives had sex about 1 or 2 times. And the way they justify it, I do see where they're coming from. And their take is that rather than, you know, looking at the body count of the person, they like to see it as in, how long did the relationship last? Say if they had sex with 2 people, and one lasted for 6 years and one lasted for 4 years, they would still see that as a plus on their behalf, because, you know, it shows commitment. So they'd probably be loyal to them. It's a good tracker to see, and I understand that. But me personally, come on, it's always nice to have something new. And I'm a virgin myself, so I have the right to say this. I'm not a hypocrite. Me being a hypocrite would be me having had sex with people in the past, many people in the past, and then I want to come back to the camera saying, oh, it would be nice to have something new. You're the walking definition of taking goods. Shut the fuck up. Man, don't do that. But I have the right to say this because I'm a virgin. I want to save my seed. I know it's right. You know, I grew up in a Christian family. Strong morals. We all have the strong morals. Why throw that away because of peer pressure on the internet? So it's an actuality. You see, and this is with everything really. Most of the things you see on the internet, it's just on the internet. When you go outside, you truly realize, oh man, yeah, this is a lot better. This is like real world shit now. I prefer this. Best case scenario, you find the right woman for you straight away. Now, I don't think it's a sin today. I really don't. Right? Just not have sex. Soul ties is a real strong thing to which most people don't realize. Most people don't talk about soul ties in the red pill, manosphere, whatever you want to name it. They have no spirit. They're acting up flesh. You gotta feed your spirit, starve your flesh. Why do you starve your flesh? Because the flesh is gonna leave you dead. The flesh is temporary. The flesh will eventually corrode. When you die, your spirit goes up and your soul. People don't know that. People don't understand that. People don't want to talk about that. They're just too in the world. We are in the world, but we are not of the world. Alright? So when you're set apart, you want to live a righteous life. So I'm seeing if there's a fox. You want to live a righteous life to which God would approve of. You can't be moving like everyone else, especially if you're a Christian. And I try my best to do so also, and not fall into those worldly peer pressures. This is the devil's work, in terms of the devil using sex now. I often said this in my videos in the past. The devil is unable to create. He can only change or worsen the purity of the things that God has put in place. Now, sex has always been pure, right? Sex has always been pure. And there's a reason why lust is one of the most 7 deadly sins out there. The devil did. He took God's concept of sex, he twisted it, perverted it. This is why the internet is so common. And unfortunately, it's become a norm for young teenagers and even kids to be struck off to porn and being exposed to porn. I'm speaking from experience. I've been exposed to porn. Well, softcore porn, but then it escalated to something worse. During the single digits, I was exposed to my first provocative picture online at the age of 6. Went down a massive rabbit hole for about a decade. Didn't end well. I came out the other side of that. But I'm talking to you to tell you, bro, that temptation is there, and it's really hard, even as a Christian myself. And I also tell my Muslim friends quite often too, stay sexually disciplined. You know? They have similar values in this term, in the sense of, you know, no sex till marriage, and I agree with that too. It's honourable. It's just unfortunate nowadays that you're ashamed for having such values. It's not as common. Now, don't get me wrong. Most of the times, things don't go according to plan, in the sense of, you know, you probably won't find the right woman straight away, right? Well, at least for what it's like in the modern day. You know, there are exceptions. Like my parents, they found themselves first time. I'm sure it may have been a lot more common back in the day, previous generations, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 ago. But we're in Gen Beta now. That sounds even crazy to say. So, you know, you may have to date a few women every now and then. Best case scenario, the right one comes along. Now, like I said, and I keep repeating this because it's key, I still believe men should gain experience with women, because you don't want to be that awkward guy with women. That's the last thing you'd want. Still date and whatnot. I'm taking my own advice. I'm not just talking shit. Like, obviously I'm not in the position where I can do that now, but of course, as I go along my 20s, I will, you know, gain experience with women, being around multiple women, seeing what type of woman I like. Because right now, I don't even know what I'm into, man. But what I do want, I would prefer a virgin. And I don't believe I'm weird for thinking that, right? Why do I need to lower my standards and date someone that's been used? Now, like I said, I was empathizing, I was sympathizing with, I'm also empathizing with another person's standpoint, in the sense of they usually prefer the longevity of a relationship. I completely understand that too, and I respect it. But from my perspective, being someone that's still a virgin, and you losing your virginity is a key moment in your life. That's something you'll never forget. We usually never forget the first time we do things, right? So if I'm going to have sex for the first time, I want good first impression. And let's say, because you guys want to argue, oh, sex is not going to be the best performed. Okay, cool. Let's go with that narrative. Well, at least it's with someone I love. So if the sex isn't porn class, because by your standards, that's how you see it, right? You want to fornicate with all these other people. If that's a standard of top class sex, then I'll choose the novice level for if we're both novices. We love each other anyway. And it's not transactional like the sex promoter nowadays, which the devil is on. The lust one. I want the love. And that sex will be a lot better anyway. There's a difference between love and lust, man. Put it simply, lust is like it's just a temporary spark that will eventually fade. And those relationships tend to be transactional, right? And it's surface level. You see this commonly on the internet. Surface level stuff, man. Doesn't really have meaning. Short-lived relationships, breaks up, divorce happens. Shit. Love is long-lasting. It's a strong, intimate feeling. Not only in the physical sense, but in the spiritual sense. You see a different side of her, to which carnal people aren't able to see. They only see the flesh. This is why they feel the need, I'm gonna drop my phone. They feel the need to keep fornicating with all these people. It's not right. It's not. And whenever I go outside, like I told you, I still struggle with sexual thoughts. Everyone does, right? And our thoughts of, you know, oh, when I have sex with all these women, yeah. When the lust kicks in. But similar to jacking off, when you're in a phase of masturbating heavy, well, prior to masturbation, you feel that you want to jack off with everyone, you want to have sex with everyone. That lust is there. I get it. I've been through it. But the moment you have that post-nut clarity, it's like, yeah, I never really wanted to do that. Don't really want to have sex with all these people, man. I'm telling you guys, one woman is enough. I'm telling you. The only reason why people try to justify having multiple women, really what they're too scared to say is, they're really just horny bastards that want to get a nut off on a new face every day, which is messed up. If they just admit they can't control their lust, I would have said cool. At least you're honest. But these people can't even do that, man. I'm telling you, one woman is enough. The way I see it is, the more women, the more headaches. Honestly, you just need one. One feminine woman in your life is enough. I'm telling you, bro. One woman is enough. How do I know? Because my parents were a perfect example of that. You may have similar parents too. You don't need to fornicate. Don't fall into peer pressure. I get the peer pressure. I understand it. As a young man myself, there's probably people out there who feel the same way as me, but are too scared to speak up. I'll be your voice. I'll speak for you. I'm a virgin, and I'm saving myself to marriage. I may be shamed for that in the comment section, so be it. Those are my morals. I always knew it was the right thing. My God approves of that too and commanded us to do so too. Why should I turn the other way where there's so many past case studies of people who've not done so and didn't end well? Now, like I said, I keep repeating it because it's key. I'm not telling you guys don't date women. I'm not telling myself don't date women. I'm saying that too because I watch my videos in the past. My past videos too sometimes. I need them too. I still believe you should be around women and whatnot. Cool. Right? And just pick the best one out of that. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. Still flirt, alright, maybe have some romance here and there. Don't commit unless you know she's truly the one. Sex is a big deal. Yes, there's pleasure to it, and that comes as a byproduct, but we tend to forget the meaning of sex. Procreation, having children. A lot of people, and especially in the rapping industry, they forget that. They're thinking purely with their dicks, lust, they end up having a child. And it was uncalled for. Then the couple start arguing, the child picks up that negative energy and it goes to shit. So to answer the question of the title of the video, am I wrong for wanting to marry a virgin when I'm a virgin? Absolutely not. I think it's a great moral to have. It shows you care about yourself, you have self-control. Now, I think, yeah, it is worth repeating one more time. I'm not telling you to be and not spend time with women. Spend time with as many women as you can. And I say that to both you and to my future self. Know women, understand how they work, female nature, all that good stuff. The red pill is good in that aspect. What I don't like about the red pill though is when they tell you to fornicate with all these people. Do you know how much damage that does to you spiritually? Look at Bonnie Blue. Look at her fucking eyes on the internet. Look at her, I'm sorry for swearing, but this is passion, man. So it just comes out sometimes. Look at Bonnie Blue's eyes. Do you see a soul in there? Come on right now. Pause this video right now. Type in Bonnie Blue. Do you see a soul in that body? I see Jezebel. Honestly, when I think of Bonnie Blue, when I look at pictures of Bonnie Blue, I think top. That's what I'm thinking. People are thinking top. People are thinking top. You can't make this shit up. That's a soul tie. That's the impact of having sex with too many people. It's sad. Some people will never be able to they will never be able to be in an actual committed relationship. And even if they find the right man, they'll screw it up because of their past mistakes. Just a lack of spiritual knowledge. I believe the quote was Hebrews 4:12. My people perish for a lack of knowledge. And there are more than many case studies to prove of that. Now, Newton's third law, Isaac Newton, believe it went something along the lines of, for everything, it's me paraphrasing, you're going to have to bear with me, okay? But for everything there's always an equal and opposite force, I believe, so too. There's sweet, there's bitter, right? Salt and sugar. There's light, there's dark. There's male, there's female. There's hot, there's warm. There's pain, there's pleasure. To end off here, to that I say, as I'm a virgin too, with the morals that I do have in place, and this is having me taken into account, I will have the discernment too, right? Not just dating someone because they're similar to you in the ethnicity sense, like someone called Akash, I made a video about him too, check that out. Don't let your dick define your social life, you know. But, making it full circle now, to the end of the video, with Newton's third law, and making that congruent to now. I'm a virgin too. The morals I have in place as a Christian, it's only natural there's someone out there who's doing the same. She may be scared to speak up, but she carries those same morals. And you're set apart. And when you're Christian, in terms of dating, your options are limited. Because it's very promoted nowadays and a lot of people are more carnal. Sinning in the sexual sense a lot more. Fornicating is becoming a norm now and it's not doing us justice, isn't it? Even a low scale like porn, masturbation at home, that's bad. Imagine sex in real life. I can only imagine. God forbid. Not to me. Hey. But yeah, making a full circle. I like to believe there's someone out there for me too, and I know there is, so I don't have this doomer mindset. This is why I can stay level-headed. and you know, keep sticking to it. So, the ending of the video, answering it again. Am I weird for wanting to have a virgin when I'm a virgin too? I think not. Let me know what you think. Take care.